So hello angels, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm just getting ready to go on the train and see Sean for New Year's. So I thought I'd do a little get ready with me and also talk about what 2020 has taught me, my New Year's resolutions, things like that. I thought it'd be a really fun video. So yeah, enjoy. I'm just gonna put my little headband on. Sean's little sister got me for Christmas and it is a godsend. I wanted one of these for so long. This is such a look, honestly. So sorry also if I'm speaking quietly or anything. It is quite early in the morning and everyone's like just kind of getting up now, so I obviously don't want to be sat here shouting. So first I'm just gonna start with a base of this Body Shop Skin Defense. It's got an SPF in it. I'm not gonna put this everywhere because I am wearing an SPF BB cream tinted moisturizer thing today. I'm just gonna put it on the areas where my skin is quite dry. Okay, so I'm going in with the Bare Minimal, I keep doing that, Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue in Vanilla. The topic today is obviously what's happened in the last year and how I'd like to use that to move on to 2021. Obviously 2020 has been an absolutely mad and wild year. I don't think any of us were expecting this. Everyone on Twitter on New Year's Eve last year was like, 2020 is gonna be my year, and I thought it was gonna be my year. I was one of those people, and yeah, it's just not. It's been quite a difficult year. Obviously I had this massive birthday trip to Ibiza planned for my 21st with my two best friends. That got cancelled. I've been just really hard with uni and everything. I've only literally had like a month of uni experience, like going out and having fun with my friends. Like, my experience at uni's definitely been like stunted and, you know, not worth the money I paid, so it's a bit annoying. But you know, I know for me it's also been a lot better of a year than it has been for a lot of people. I got to go spend lockdown with my boyfriend to do my exams because it's just a much better place for me mentally at my boyfriend's with him, where he can help me and has more time to help me with my mental health, or he did at the time because he was off. And away from work and everything, the pressures. The next thing I'm going in with is the Revolution Concealer in C1 because I'm pale as anything. So me and my doctor agreed it would be best for me to travel to Wales and spend my exam period with my boyfriend, and then he didn't have to go back to work for a little while, so even after my exams I got to stay with him for a little bit. So that was obviously good and I was very lucky in that respect. Obviously I went to go spend Christmas with Sean, and then we were so excited. I literally been looking forward to it for months, and last minute on Christmas Eve he got called back. We had to travel back and he had to drop me off here, and it was really, really upsetting and really awful. But then on the flip side, he has been sent back now, so we will get to spend New Year's together, so at least there's that. So I've got a few categories in this video that I want to talk about. By the way, I'm just using some Body Shop Power. It's the lightest shade. Oh, that's 02 actually. Wow, not the lightest shade for once. So my topics are what 2020 taught me, my New Year's resolutions, and my goals for 2021. Got my notes down here if I'm looking down here, by the way. So the first thing that 2020 taught me is that alone time is sacred. And what I mean by that is that I am a very, very social creature by heart. I am an absolute social butterfly. I always have been. Love spending time with people. But I've learned that, you know, alone time, chill time, going on a walk with yourself, chilling and reading a book by yourself, like in bed with the candles on, like it's so good for you and it's so beneficial just having that time to yourself. And just because you're not with other people doesn't mean you can't have a really good time and just enjoy yourself. So yeah, that's a big thing I learned, especially with like the lockdowns and everything. I learned to actually like enjoy my own company, which sounds ridiculous. I'm 21, I've only just learned, and I feel like I've come a long way in like stepping away from the need of having that. The next thing that I learned in 2020 is that life happens, it doesn't happen to you. Whenever something bad happens in my day, like something quite bad, I'm always like, why does this always happen to me? Why is my life like this? Like, what did I do to deserve this? And the truth is nothing. The world isn't about you, and I know that's like My family are gonna laugh about that because we have a joke that the whole world revolves around me. Things in the world don't happen because they want to make you feel sad. Things just happen, and sometimes they happen in your favour and sometimes they don't. That is like luck and that is life. And I'm trying to get out, and I definitely have come a long way of getting out of the mindset of like, this is happening to me, because it doesn't help. Like, obviously, like, feel what you need to feel, but sitting and wallowing and being like, oh, life hates me, doesn't do anything. So why do it, you know? So this third one that I learned, I only heard it said in this way literally the other day, that the past and the future don't exist right now. And although like I literally only heard this the other day, I think this was definitely something I have learned from. That is to stop living in the past or the present. Like this lady at work, she said to me, she was like, you're always living in the future. Like, you're always talking about how excited you are to see your boyfriend, counting down to the next time you see him, but you're never enjoying the present. And it has made me think a lot. Like, obviously I don't wake up every morning like, oh my god, I can't wait to go back in retail, I can't wait to come home and do uni work all day. Like, obviously not, but rather than being like, oh my god, like 2 weeks till I see Sean and wish my whole life away, I need to find more like moments of happiness right now and enjoy now for what it is. Even though it's not as good as it can be, it's a lot better of a situation than some people are in. Like, I still have a job, I live at home in a nice room, you know, there are good things around me now. So yeah, that was definitely a big one for 2020. I feel like that's a big lesson for like everyone in general, to kind of appreciate what you have right now, because obviously it wasn't as good as it could have been, but it was a lot better than it was. And especially when my trip to Ibiza got cancelled, like, it wasn't, us going to London was amazing, and we kind of say now with hindsight it probably was better in London than it was going to be in Ibiza, but obviously it wasn't this big holiday that we'd originally planned pre-COVID. I was just kind of enjoying it for what it was. By the way, I just did my bronzer with Private Island by Fenty Beauty. The thing about the past as well definitely is for me, because I have a lot of anxiety, I have OCD tendencies, depression, and a big old cocktail of mental health basically. So a lot of the time I dwell on the past and I overthink things because of the past and things that have happened to me. I just need to move on and like accept that I feel that way, accept that that is how it is, and work on making myself feel better, rather than being like, oh, I feel this way because of this and that was really rubbish and now I feel rubbish, and just sitting there in my rubbishness. Okay, anyway, moving on. The next thing I learned in 2020, which is actually a massive one for me, is that doing something is always better than thinking about something and doing nothing, which sounds blatantly obvious, but I'll explain. I'm using Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade in Ash Brown. What I mean by that is I have always suffered from procrastination, and yes, I'm going to say suffered from because I was suffering. I always have really bad anxiety, like performance anxiety, so rather than actually facing that, I just didn't revise for things. I didn't revise for my GCSEs, and that way I think subconsciously my brain was like, if you don't try, then you can never prove yourself to be dumb, because you can always say to yourself, oh, I got that grade because I didn't try. And although through school I did perform really well despite doing no homework, no revision, nothing, when I got to A-levels, we actually do need to put work in. That hit me quite hard. I really did not do in my A-levels what I wanted to do, and then when I resat them, even though I worked my absolute arse off, I still didn't get what I wanted to do. So it was kind of like my fear realised, and so that was a real bummer for me. I realised like there was a lot of value in doing the work rather than dreading doing the work, and I did definitely procrastinate a bit while still doing my A-levels the second time round, but it was so much better. I literally was behind when I started revising, like literally like half a year behind when I started revising the first time round, so that was just not the one. And then when I got to uni, again procrastinating still a little bit less, but still I'd missed some lectures and stuff by the time it came to revising. So when I got to Sean's, I literally sat down and I was like, I'm gonna make myself an action plan. I did every single lecture that I'd missed. I added it all to a massive document, consolidated all my lectures, and I smashed my exams. I smashed them all. I did it so well. And that is why, because I went the extra mile and I did something. And there were days when I was at Sean's revising where I just felt a bit rubbish, like I couldn't really be arsed. I still did something, and I've brought that work ethic into second year. So I have a minimum that I do every day, even though I work, even though I go and try and do exercise. There's a minimum that I try and do uni work wise. If I don't feel like a good day, I'll just do the minimum. And if I'm feeling really, really good, I'll do the next day's work a bit. and then I can relax at a time when I'm not feeling so good. And what that has done is it has made me so much more ahead, so much more prepared. Even though I've been working crazy hours and been really stressed, and I had that massive stressful finals week, I still managed to do it. I still managed to get every single thing turned in on time, just really kept on top of it. And for someone who has procrastinated their whole life and always been behind and only been able to keep up like academically, because I'm quite naturally academic, and I'm so proud of myself, and that is a massive thing for me to have learned. And just even when I feel rubbish, just doing something, I always feel better for it. But the next morning I can say, well, I had a rubbish day yesterday, but at least I did that, and it starts the day off so much better. So yeah, if you are a procrastinator like me, I definitely recommend. The next thing I'm gonna go in with is the e.l.f. this like double one thing. One's for lashes, one's for brows. I only really use the brow one. I prefer boy brow, but it takes ages to come and I've just run out and I can't be asked to order more yet, so we're just gonna use this one. It kind of goes along with the first one about alone time, and that is, you are the only person that you are gonna spend the rest of your life with, 100%. Like, certain to spend the rest of your life with. Even the people around you, like, you don't know if they're gonna die or a bit morbid, but like, treat yourself nicely. It's like the same thing with like your body, do you know what I mean? Like, your body's the only body you're gonna have, so treat it nicely. I'm just gonna go back in with Private Island on my eyes. And yeah, definitely this year I've learned so much about myself as a person. My self-confidence has increased so much. Like, I just think of myself a lot more highly. I'm learning to accept my body as it is, and coming from someone who's always had body issues, learning to love myself despite that and not see it as like some massive problem that needs to be fixed, and that I don't need to be fixed. I don't need someone to come rescue me. I'm fine as I am. And yeah, just like being kinder to myself. I feel like that's a massive thing I've learned this year. I know because of the pandemic, a lot of people have spent more alone time with themselves, and that has definitely been like not just a me thing, but like a general thing again. But yeah, it's really nice. I'm happy that that is something I've learned this year. Again, kind of along the same lines, people pleasing gets you nowhere, especially when you're people pleasing people that you don't even like. I definitely learned this year. I did have a really long-term friend that I was just kind of holding on to. I didn't even really like them. They've always been kind of rude and nasty to me, very manipulative, used me. I knew they used me, but I felt bad, and you know, I wanted to be a good friend, and I thought that if I stopped being friends with them, that would make me a bad friend, and it doesn't, because that person never treated me like a friend, only wanted to hang out with me if there was something in it for them, was never really there for me, if I'm completely honest. It always made me feel really rubbish about myself. So why am I spending my time going out of my way trying to people please someone that I dread hanging out with? Like, I'm learning to stand up for myself more, and I think that, like I said, comes along with the self-worth and liking myself more, like having the confidence to say, no, do you know what, I deserve better than this, and I'm gonna ask for this from my friendships, because I get it from my other friendships, so if I can get it from them, I can get it from you too. Just having more standards for myself, and learning that if people don't like you, that is absolutely fine, because I don't like people. That doesn't mean that they're a bad person. There's people that I don't like, and so it's okay if people don't like me. Not everyone's gonna like you, and you don't want everyone to like you, because if everyone liked you, you'd be kind of boring. You wouldn't have much about you, because people don't always get on, and that's the beauty of life, you know, conflict. You love it. Yes, it's my Naked Cherry palette. I'm gonna go in with some pinks, normally Juicy. Juicy's a nice one. And this is the last thing on the list of what I learned. And I think I mentioned this earlier on. These are all kind of combined, because obviously I kind of grew in a similar way this year. You kind of always do. But my anxiety is not something to fix, and it's not something for someone else to fix. It is my responsibility to learn to manage it, and I'm never going to get rid of my anxiety. And that's something my boyfriend said to me earlier this year, like, you're never going to get rid of it. It's never going to disappear. Like, it's part of you, it's who you are, and it's not some awful monster that I have to deal with. It is good in some ways. It makes me really organised, it makes me really determined and hardworking. It makes me very perceptive of other people's motives, and I often feel like I pick up on a lot of things that people don't in terms of people's behaviours towards me and stuff. I can tell you're annoyed with me before you know you're annoyed with me. Accept myself for who I am, but also work on how that affects my interactions with people and just being a nicer person in general. So yes, that is the last thing I learned. And now I'm moving on to my New Year's resolutions. I think I'm happy with my eyes. So my New Year's resolutions obviously go off what I learned this year, because I feel like I've grown so much this year. I like myself so much more for who I am this end of the year than the beginning. 2021 is going to be quite a wild one for me. Obviously we have no idea what's going on with COVID, vaccine, the new strain. We just don't know at the moment what's going on, which ways up or down with it. So I've got no real like, oh my god, I'm gonna go travel the world, because we don't know what this year is gonna look like. Obviously I'm going into the end of my second year of my degree, and I'll be going into my third year, which is just mental to me. I literally feel like I started yesterday. Sadly, my boyfriend, most likely, as we know right now, is going to Iraq with his work for 6 months this year. And so I'm not going to see him for 6 months, which is actually brutal. I want to cry every time I think about it, so I'm not going to dwell on it too long. It's funny, that's kind of like the general gist of the year. So for my New Year's resolutions, I want to continue working on my anxiety, my problem solving and self-soothing. So when I'm feeling anxious, rather than going, Sean, call me, I'm having a panic attack, learning to do it all myself. Something that my boyfriend Sean pointed out actually when we found out he had to go back when we were in Wales last week. I had a panic attack because I was really looking forward to it. It was out of my control, something that I couldn't foresee. It was quite like jarring. Instead of him having to soothe me, obviously he was there like cuddling me, making sure I was okay. I calmed myself down. Like, it didn't even turn into a full panic attack. It was all right, and he just said that was really cool to see, like my growth. So I want to continue that, and obviously while he's away, that kind of gives me a good chance to do it. Like I said, I'm gonna miss him to absolute bits. Don't get me wrong. Don't think I'm gonna be out here like Miss Independent. So there's that. I want to try and enjoy my own company out in public. Like when things open up and obviously the world's getting back to normal, I want to take myself out to like a cafe. So I keep dipping below because that is not, I literally sit like Doofenshmirtz while I do my makeup normally. But yeah, I want to go out to a cafe or like a restaurant and sit by myself and just enjoy my own company. It's so hard to talk and do eyeliner. I understand why all of them like skip it out and they're like, oh, I'll be back when I do my eyeliner. It's so difficult. But we're powering through. My next resolution is to work on self-love and acceptance more in terms of my body image, definitely. Although I'm so much better than I used to be, I definitely still struggle with it. I want to accept myself as I am and not have those thoughts of, oh, I won't eat today, or you know, I need to work out because I've been eating like shit. Like, I just want to do what feels good to me. What I use for eyeliner is the Jet Black Anastasia one. Now I'm gonna curl my lashes and use my Better Than Sex. Another resolution for me is to be more grateful. Although I do think I am quite a grateful person already, I definitely have a lot to be grateful for. Like I said, when I'm getting really upset, I often focus on what I don't have and what is missing and lacking in my life rather than what is good already. And that is, again, living in the moment. I'm about to pull some really interesting faces while doing my mascara, so enjoy that. But yeah, I just feel like gratitude and being grateful and appreciating what you have not only is a nice thing to do, it also makes you a lot more happier. And then my last resolution goes along with everything I've literally been talking about in this video, which is to learn to live in the moment. I feel like that is going to be a big one for me this year. I feel like definitely I'm going to grow instead of while Sean's away being like, oh my god, I can't wait till he's back. My life starts again when he returns home, my husband from the war. Actually just enjoying the me time, spending time with my friends, you know, making the most of that. Making the best of the situation. Like, definitely I feel like it's going to be a big learning point for me this year. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm literally leaving in an hour. That is mad. My makeup took so much longer than it usually does. Right, I'm gonna straighten my hair. So in terms of goals for 2021, obviously, like I said, I'm not gonna put anything too wild out here. I'm obviously not gonna get upset if I don't hit my goals for this year, because who knows what this year is going to look like, and we've had a hard one already. Nothing that puts too much of an expectation on myself. We just don't know what this year is going to look like. It could be even worse. We hope it's not, but it could be. My first goal for 2021 is obviously to smash second year of law. Definitely I'm working a lot harder than I was last year, definitely being a lot more consistent, like I said, just keeping up with my work. So hopefully around exam season I'm going to have a lot more time on my hands to revise, go over things, you know, new ideas, new theories within the law, definitely work on my analysis and essay writing skills. Yeah, and I just feel a lot more confident this year, and not cocky confident where you're like, oh my god, I don't need to do any work, but like a confident, like, if I put, you know, effort into this, I could already smash this. So that's what the goal is, to do, to put all the effort in and hopefully get what I want out of the end, which, you know, is always the goal. My next goal for 2021 is that I want to learn to drive, so obviously to pass my theory test and to pass my practical test. I would also like a car, but you know, I don't really know how my finances are going to be, and with my debt I just don't know how that's going to pan out. That's kind of like a would be nice if, but it's definitely not like a 100% goal, because you just don't know what's going to happen. Would, in an ideal world, like a little Clio. But yeah, it would be nice to end the year with a car, but like I said, I'm not going to hold myself too strictly on that, because we have had the year that is 2020. We just don't know what's around the corner. But for 2021 I definitely want to have passed my test for sure. Now the next one is another big one. Like I said, I'm again not going to hold myself too harshly to this one. I want to pay off my debt, the credit card debt, obviously not my student loan debt, that would be a bit unrealistic, but I would like to pay off my credit card debt this year. I did get really close towards like the middle of this year, and then some things came up and I had to dip back into the credit card pot, unfortunately. But I'm hoping that this year I'll finally be able to say goodbye to my credit cards and actually use them properly. My last goal on here is kind of a random one. So I want to read 12 books, non-uni books this year. Obviously that's one per month, and the reason is because I really got out of reading when I went to sixth form. I literally used to be the biggest bookworm. As a kid I used to read myself like literally a book every week. I was so good at reading and finding time to read. Obviously you do have a lot more time to like for things like reading when you're younger. I used to read every night before I went to bed. I was in such a good habit of it, and I really like reading. And this year I've read 3 books, and 3 of them have been this month. Like, I read 2 while I was at Sean's. Literally in 4 days I read 2 books, and one of them I read over the course of December each night. And I'd like to get into the routine of that, like settling down, putting my candles on, reading a book. I feel like I definitely slept better those nights that I did that. I definitely felt a lot more relaxed. So that is definitely a resolution for me. I feel like a book a month is sustainable. Obviously I'm not going to be like, oh my god, if I haven't read a book this month, because some books are going to be bigger than others. I'm going to start off with one that I started reading, but I'm just going to start it over because I started reading it a long time ago, and that is The Secret Barrister. I really like him on Twitter. I want to get his new book as well, and that is definitely in my drawer, and I started it I think the other day a little bit. I read the first Dexter book when I was at Sean's as well, and I really enjoyed that, so I definitely want to read the rest of the series. And yeah, so that's kind of what I'm aiming to do. So short of putting lip gloss on, which is going to be my Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb, which I'm literally not going to do until I get there, I am pretty much done with this video. I hope you enjoyed it. It was obviously really nice to go through what I'd learned this year, have a bit of self-reflection, and yeah, really exciting to make some goals for this year and hopefully make it a better year. Like I say, it wasn't like the worst year of my life, because I did get to spend a lot of time with my boyfriend, and you know, it wasn't all terrible. It was really exciting to kind of plan through what I'm going to get up to this year and hopefully make this year a better year, even though it wasn't so bad for me in the first place. Like, I did get to spend a lot of it with Sean, so that's all good. But yeah, I hope this year is better for all of you too, and I hope you have a really nice New Year's Day. So yeah, that's it from me, and hopefully I'll be able to be a bit more consistent in the new year. So bye.